Welcome to the Town of Groton Complete Streets Advisory Committee February meeting. We'll start with our members. We've got Patrice Gronatowski, Tom Olson, myself, Brian Kent, and Lori Hendrickson is here in virtual. Oh, is Cindy up? Oh, there's Cindy. Okay, Cindy Berry. Welcome. And we have visitors, so why don't we just go around the room and I'll let each of you introduce yourselves. How about we start out there in the audience?
I'm Lucas. Let's see some familiar faces that came back in November or December. And I work for the Connecticut Secondary Advancement Program. I'm from Stonington, and we're a nonprofit organization that helps put kids on bikes, and we do bike races, summer camps, and other fundraisers and events. And we also have school teams. And so I'm just kind of here to kind of facilitate getting a team started in Groton, as well as other projects from like Stonington and anything else that I can learn from you guys as well. So
right.
I'm Jennifer Egerberg. I'm from CT Rise. I'm an outreach and engagement specialist, and I actually live in Mystic as well. But I serve partners in the eastern region of the state, and I'll be presenting in a little bit.
Oh, something else to do it too. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Kevin Jones, I'm the Assistant Director of Planning and Development.
Jeff Foster, Town Engineer, Groton Public Works.
Mark Berry, Director of Parks and Recreation.
I'm Brian Kent, Chair of the committee.
I'm Tom Thorndike. I'm an engineer with Groton Public Works. I'm here at this meeting to talk about a sidewalk bike lane project I've got going on near Pequannock Bridge in Groton, near the bridge.
All right. Tom Olson.
Yeah, I'm just a member.
We know you. And Patrice. All right. Thank you all. So starting out as far as communications are concerned, I've talked to Jan, I've talked to Lucas. I've been contacted by a gentleman at the Navy base, and he reached out to me because he learned that I was president of Bike Groton. But I think it's something that going forward, our committee and the base can begin a dialogue, and I'll start the communication. We're just beginning to talk about maybe setting up a meeting where I would just go over to the base and see what they've got going on, and then that could be a bridge for our committee. So that was nice to get that inquiry from their outreach person at the base. All right. Anyone else have any communications they'd like to report?
I just have a question in regard to at 6 o'clock tonight, there's a thing with the sub-base long-term planning thing. Was this incorporated into that or not?
It might be. His inquiry had to do with whether Bike Groton is applying for any state DOT grants this year. And I said, well, we're kind of small for DOT grants, but I'd be happy to talk to you because they're not, they're interested in partnering. So we'll see where that goes, but it could be related.
Yeah, I'll be at that meeting at 6 o'clock, so I'll watch out for that.
So is that at the base?
No, it's at Thrive 55 from 6 to 8 tonight. It's open to the general public.
Okay. So can you just give us a little more background on that?
1 second here, I'll bring up the flyer because there's actually a website. And
So it's a plan that's funded by the DOD. It's an update of the 2017 Joint Land Use Study. And it's essentially a project to make sure that uses outside the base are compatible with the mission on the base. So there's a number of communities that are involved, not just Groton, obviously, folks on the other side of the Thames River. This is the first public meeting to start talking about what their recommendations might be.
Oh.
Over at Thrive.
Okay.
she's more into it than I am.
Oh, thanks. Okay. So our next item is December minutes.
It's actually January minutes.
I'm sorry.
The typo on the agenda.
Oh, it sure is. Sorry. Yes, you're right. Of course, January.
I move acceptance of the January minutes.
Second.
Any discussion about the minutes?
Jim Foster is incorrect. That's not the correct spelling of Jim.
Okay, yeah, let's correct that. So, yes, so Jeff Foster in the roll call,
Yeah.
he spells it GEO.
Gee. Okay,
Uh,
no problem.
and yeah, it looks fine to me. Okay. So all in favor of approving minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Minutes approved. Thank you. Okay, so first item in our new business is Drive Less Connecticut. So Jen, please help me with your last name. Egbert is here from CT Rides to tell us about their organization.
Share going, and then I'm gonna give you the mouse. Stand, go where, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, okay. Do you mind if I sit while I present? Is that okay?
That's okay.
So I'm Jennifer Eckerberg. I'm your neighbor. I live in Mystic, a newer resident. But I'm an outreach and engagement specialist for CT Rides. And CT Rides, our main role really is to promote public transportation throughout the state. So the DOT is our client, and we work with partners. So there's one of me, there's four of me basically, and we've split the state up into regions. So most recently we went from 3 regions to 4 regions, and I'm now the Eastern region. So what we do is we really just try to help residents, help commuters find better options to get to work or for play as well. But my role is to work directly with employers. I work with colleges and universities. I work with municipalities in the eastern part of the state. So I'm just going to go over just high level what CT Rides does, because we have a website, we have people like me, and we have an app. But then I'm going to gear it towards the Drive Less Connecticut Challenge, which is starting up on Earth Day. So that's what I've been invited to speak about. But I wanted to give you a little insight behind what we do. So one of the best things about our website and our customer, we have a whole team of people behind this website. So what you're going to see is I've taken snapshots of Groton specifically. If you go to our website and if you don't know anything about transportation options in the state, you can do this on your own, the self-service way. So there's a drop down with every town in the state of Connecticut, and you're going to see every option that they have. So if we're here in Groton, you're going to see that the bus services are seat. There's going to be links to purchase tickets, to go to the website for the schedules. All of that will be linked. If there's microtransit available, that will also be listed. So we do have that here. And if there's train availability, that will be linked as well. There's also bike shares that will be listed. So like in New Haven, you're going to have bike shares listed as well. So it's a great resource, especially if you're new to the state and you don't know how to navigate around the state, you can go there. There's another option. You can call our customer service team. And if you say, hey, I want to go from Hartford to New Haven, tell me how to do it via bus, via train, whatever. They will do that for free, and they will map out your whole way with bus transfers, whatever you need to do. So, and they're wonderful human beings. They answer right away. You're not talking to a computer, and they will get you where you need to go. And it doesn't just have to be for commuting. It can be for going somewhere for a show or whatever. So that's a really great aspect to our website. And then you're also going to notice that this is going to pop up too, carpool services and van pool services. So from our app and from our website, you can search for carpools and van pools and join them via our app. So once again, this is all free. And what we do is we just link you up with the person, and then you can message them in the app and then plan out your trip with them. So we just facilitate the matching. Okay, now my role, like what we do as CT Rides, and my position when I work with employers, so I'm working with employers with 50 or more employees. And what we do is I am your point person. I'll come on site, I'll come do events, I'll come table, I'll talk to employees. We'll do carpool matching days. We do try it days. So if you have a group of employees that are interested in learning how to take the bus to get to work, we'll plan a try it day. We'll pay for the tickets and we'll show you how to do it. We'll hold your hand and teach you. But we also in the springtime, we'll do try it days with biking to work. So we'll facilitate those events. We'll do anything that's outside of just one person driving a car to work. We're going to try and encourage you to do it. So we can provide you with data. So when your employees log in through our app and create a profile, we work with Agile Mile and we can give you a whole data sheet of how many of your employees are actually going and taking the bus to work, how many employees are working from home, how many employees are walking and biking. We have a breakdown of all that information, which is really helpful, especially if you have a sustainability part of your company that wants to look into this information. We can provide that for you. We can do heat maps from where your employees are coming from. So if you want to say, hey, we're interested in getting a van pool, like I work with EB, they have van pools. We can pair you up with Commute with Enterprise, and you can see who's actually coming from the same places in the state, and maybe a van pool is an option for you. So that's a little bit about what we do. Emergency Ride Home program, that's also a free service that we have, where if the employer is interested, all we need is a verbal yes and 2 people point of contact. And this is for the employees that commute via bus, commute via carpool, and then they have an emergency, say their kid gets sick and they have to pay for perhaps an Uber or a Lyft. We will reimburse them up to $200 up to 4 times a year. So they just have to go through the reimbursement process on our website. So it's a really cool feature when you have employees that are relying on alternative ways of transportation, and then we can take care of them if something happens. Okay, so the reason why I'm here to talk about the Drive Less Connecticut Challenge, this is our big push every year. So it starts on Earth Day, and then it goes until the end of May. And this is where it's a statewide challenge, and we encourage residents to drive less. It's very straightforward. So my role and my coworkers' roles, we will go and table at our partners, at our employers, town events, city events. And we'll go before the challenge starts, let people know about it, have them sign up through our app. And then that's really it. They just have to sign up, and then they take different ways. Either they're walking or they're biking, scootering, taking bus, whatever. You log those trips. And then the more trips you log, that you get entered into winning big amounts of money on gift cards. So the more trips, you're eligible for a higher denomination of a gift card. So, and it's just a great way. We have some employers in Hartford. My teammate works with a lot of the big employers there, and they actually compete within their work site. So we provide them with that Agile Mile data, and they have competitions within to like encourage their employees to just drive less for the month. So it's been really cool to see how different employers get engaged with this event. So we also partner with One Tree Planted. So I believe it's every 6 car trips that are avoided taken, 1 tree gets planted. So it's another added feature of this program. So it's really great. We love talking with the public and just engaging the public in this challenge. And throughout this town, we have a lot of bike to work events. We have a lot of just, because the weather is nicer, we try and provide breakfast, work with the employer, and plan out these fun events. So these are some pictures. I think these are mainly like Hartford and New Haven. I used to work in the New Haven area, so that's why a lot of the pictures are geared to that. Yeah, so some of the trips that are eligible are taking the train, taking the bus, carpooling, van pooling, biking, walking, and working from home too. And there's a feature on our app where you can set it. If you are commuting this way every day, you can set it so it goes automatically, so you don't even have to think about logging the trip. So you're just gaining all those rewards. So this was a bike to work event that we did at State Street Station in New Haven last May, where we got to greet people taking the train, and then they grabbed some breakfast, then hopped on their bike to get to work. So that was a fun event. And these were some of our results. So if you go to our website right now, you're going to see results from the past couple of years. Once the challenge goes live on Earth Day, you will see more information. The website changes. But this is what you're going to see right now. So you're going to see last year how many trees we planted, how many miles we saved from driving, the gallons of gas you saved, and all of these details are what you're going to see in your app. So when you download it, you're going to have like a dashboard where you can see your own statistics. So we've had pretty successful challenge results. So the CT Rides app, this is what it's going to look like. We gamified it, so you're gonna earn badges, you can show people what you've been doing, but you're gonna be seeing your own statistics based on the trips that you log. And once again, this app is completely free. So not only is it a place for you to log your trips, it's a place for you to plan your trips as well. So similar to our website, similar to our customer support team, you can go in, it's gonna kind of look like Google Maps, your start and your stop location, and then it's gonna list everything that's available. Microtransit is included in that. Carpools are included in that. The buses, and it's gonna give you all the details about the timing of the buses, where to walk to get to the bus stop. It's very informative. So it's a multifaceted app. So this is what I was talking about. So you'll see down in the bottom, this person is trying to go from West Hartford to Travelers in Hartford. And these are some of the carpools that are available. But you'll also see the symbols. There's 7 buses that are available to get you there. So it's very clearly marked. It'll link you to where you need to go. You can't purchase tickets in our app, but it'll link you to where you need to go to buy the tickets. And yeah, and then this is, we just switched over to this reward system where every month there's going to be a drawing for a $50 gift card. So all those trips that you log, this is how you can then take those points and try and win the gift cards every month. But during the challenge, we're going to have much bigger gift cards available. And that's about it. This is if you want to download it, but that was just kind of like a high view of this challenge and what we do, but I'll be happy to answer questions afterwards. Do you want me to take?
Yeah, there's a stop share, yeah.
Wow, that's really impressive. So how long has this been in like creation? Because it's such a impressive app.
It has experience for 1.5 years right now, so I don't even know when it first came about, but at least 5 years it's been
Okay.
around. So
Uh-huh. Okay,
Yes.
great. So I downloaded the app, but I haven't signed in or anything yet. So I see that you have to you have to create an account. So it's a free app, and I think everybody should give it a try. And so if you're logged into the app and say I get on a bike at my front door and I ride to work. So it is automatically tracking me. So I have to enable like my phone to allow it to track my movement. Is that how that works?
you can say, I can mute every single, like you're gonna initially go in and set it and then it'll go. But I think they just linked it where it may go with your Strava account if you have a Strava account. So I think it may tie that in.
Oh, sure.
But
right.
I have to double check.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's really great. Any questions from anyone? Sure, Patrice.
Thanks. So I was keyed in on the one tree planted thing.
Yeah.
So that, how is that determined? So like where the individual lives, then if they do, what did you say, six trips that are carless, then a tree would be planted in that community?
So it's not in the community, it's not necessarily here in Connecticut. I had to clarify that too recently. It's just wherever that program is planting their trees. So we help contribute to their initiative.
And then may I follow up?
Oh, of course.
I had a separate question. You were talking about how this runs from Earth Day to the end of May, and you said you go into the communities ahead of time.
Yeah.
To register people prior to Earth Day, right?
Yeah.
So do we have an event in mind or place in mind where they could start doing this? I was thinking go to the Ditty Bag in Stonington.
So it has to, I'm working, as long as it's employers that have more than 50 employees. We used to work at all community events and just engage the public, but we
Right.
kind of switched gears. So
Okay, so that
it's
will,
going to be employees, but I can provide you with information and you can always just let people know. We have email versions of everything. You can also sign up on our website when you want to be notified of this challenge when it's starting. But I can provide you with information via through Town of Groton if I'm working with you guys that way.
was the intention that the town would get involved and publicize this ahead of time?
Well, so the reason Jen is here is because a person that works in the active transportation unit at DOT in Newington passed my contact information to her. and so his name is Paul Ashworth, and he reports to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board that I'm vice chair of, that meets monthly. So that's how this networking has taken place. So we've only communicated between ourselves. We haven't included the town until today. So now the town is aware of this. And so maybe there can be some relationship that blossoms here. But I will say, as far as the town of Groton as a whole is concerned, the largest event that would coincide with the challenge is the Earth Day Market Festival at the Groton Library on Earth Day. So that's the particular Saturday, in April, where many community organizations show up and table and sell products and inform the public. And if there's a way that CT Rides could be there for that, it would be a great amount of exposure for you guys, because weather, withstanding, because to some extent, some of it's outside, but there is a lot of it inside the library as well, where you could say, it would give you an opportunity to be facing the public in a way that's more comprehensive than just an employer,
My car there for CT rides. So
Okay.
To do that at the library.
Oh, okay.
That would be a great way for me to engage with more employers in the area.
So do you have a car that's all labeled up with CT Ride graphics? Oh. Oh, she's decorated.
But yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Because we're trying to really tack into some of the employers in the area in Groton and New London a little further out. So that would be great.
Yeah, as far as just wearing my other hats, the Conservation Commission, we already have lined up through for the next Earth Day event at the library coming up. We have points of contact, and tabling a lot of that stuff is done through the Conservation Commission. So
We also work with municipalities for sustainable CT. So there's a specific 6.3, pretty much every single one in 6.3, you're gonna have to go through a CT Rides rep anyway. So if you're interested in tacking that off of sustainable CT, I can facilitate that too for the town.
Is that?
It's our department, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than just the whole encouraging aspect of CT rides and stuff like that, how is like the CTTOT like taking the data that you guys are collecting from like the challenge, and also from the community data to like input like actual more ways for people to commute and make these decisions on their own?
I think it's definitely supporting, they want to see ridership, and this is a great way to see ridership, like especially when you're talking about the shoreline east and getting more times for the shoreline east. So this is data that they can pull from our app to see, okay, who's actually taking the train, who's actually taking the buses, who's actually commuting via bike, if you're trying to talk about safer routes to get to work. So I'm not on that side of things. That would be my boss and my boss's boss, but I can certainly find out more of like how they're actually taking that specific data and utilizing it afterwards.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you again. This is really interesting, important work that you're doing. You're welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting if you'd like. We have a couple more items. So let's get right into our next item, which revolves around a plan of conservation and development process that is being formulated currently. And the town has published, in a way, they've posted, let's say, a working draft of an implementation matrix, which includes all of the principal categories represented in the POCD. And this matrix, I have included it in the packet, so all of you should have had a chance to look at it. The matrix has columns for each item. So under a category, there's an overarching policy, and then there's a set of strategies. And within each of these strategies, there is an opportunity for the responsibility and supporter to be noted. And understanding that this is a draft and that we are looking at it, and other members of the community are looking at it. I think today is our committee's opportunity to provide some input. And we have the proper venue to do this here. We have Deb, who's the staff support for the process. So I think we can just begin with, I'll let members of the committee tell us what you think about it. If you have any specific questions or suggestions, let's go ahead, and then I'll follow up with my input. So which of you would like to go
Well,
first?
my first question would be to Deb, and I know that this was discussed at last week's Planning and Zoning Commission, and I think you made a comment. You're coordinating all the inputs from them. You'll also be able to take comments from us today?
Sure, absolutely, and I can forward that on to
Okay.
planning and zoning, so.
I just wanted to clarify that first,
Yeah,
so.
let me just tell you where we're at in this process. The plan of conservation and development, which we're calling Groton 2035, needs to be adopted by June of this year. So the Planning and Zoning Commission is the authority to adopt it. They are finishing up their work on both the narrative and the implementation table, which is explained within the narrative of the plan. They're gonna have to be finished by next week with a draft in order to meet the referral requirements, in order to have a May public hearing. So you can certainly provide comments to them, but there will be a public hearing. We're scheduling it tentatively for May 14, and we have a number of other dates reserved in case they decide to continue it. So it is not imperative that you get all your comments in right now. Okay. This definitely is a draft. I am getting comments from the Planning and Zoning Commission, so it is likely that some of these strategies will change. Some of the times will definitely change. And possibly the folks who are helping to implement these strategies will change.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does that answer your question?
No, yeah, I appreciate that insight. And I guess from my viewpoint, I think things are going in the right direction on this. And I'm appreciative that they've taken in from a complete streets perspective, this whole concept of transportation and stuff. And I think that's where, if we had comments to put in, this would be the proper area to focus in on. I don't think we really need to get into, there's a lot of other things in the developments and conservation areas and land use and all that type of stuff. But I think there are items on transportation that have been a big focus on this. I think that's where we should be putting our attention. So that's going to ask for it to be at least discussed here. So if you had anything.
Okay, thank you. Patrice?
So, thank you. I had 4 things when Brian first sent this out. Strategy 1.3.c uses the term complete streets. Let me find it now if I can find it. 1.3. Yes. And maybe I don't understand the roles. As you were saying, the strategy text is there: responsibility lead, responsibility supporters. There are 3 columns for responsibility supporters. And 1.3.c specifically references complete street guidelines. But this committee is not listed as a supporter. And I'm just wondering if it would be appropriate for the Complete Streets Advisory Committee to be a supporter, or what I don't know.
Right.
For
So
question.
there are a number of categories of responsibility. There are departments, there are commissions, and then there's sort of a catch-all NGO, which means committees like this that may not have any kind of approval, authority or
Right.
anything like that. So if you look at the text that's associated with it, the narrative, this committee is called out. This committee, as well as the Complete Streets policy. So in answer, yeah, you'd certainly be a participant in it. This recommendation, the strategy in particular, really is going to be the development of technical specifications for how to, renovate an existing street into a complete street. It will likely have different categories because something that's appropriate for Godfrey Road is not appropriate for South Road. So it'll probably have different categories of streets and the best way to retrofit them. It'll also have standards for new streets if we ever get a new subdivision application.
Okay, so that probably then is the same as 3.1. I gotta find that. Yeah, so what you just explained answers that question as well.
Right.
Because you're talking about the technical aspects of it. Okay.
And that one is more complicated because obviously downtown is
Yeah.
a state road. But yeah.
And then one other thing, which is kind of something that I'm very much in favor of. If you're looking at 4.3, I just closed it. Sorry, it's taking a while to get to it. Foster sustainable, resilient, and adaptable infrastructure that ensures uninterrupted access to essential services such as water, sewer, electricity, broadband, et cetera. And again, like Public Works is there, planning and development services. We have a sustainability manager. We do we not still?
We do.
Okay, so-
BDS, that's right.
So within OPDS,
Yes.
so the sustainability aspect
Yes,
is
that's the
reflected
division
in that.
in OPDS.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian.
So this matrix will appear in the final document.
So the final document will be the baseline report, which is essentially where we are now. It's a 200-page document, I'm sorry to say. It will be the plan, the narrative, that explains and provides background information for these, as well as the implementation matrix and future land use map. And there will be a number of other maps that are also within the document. Yeah,
So do you agree that when the POCD document is complete and going forward into future years and issues are being discussed and debated, when people are discussing particular aspects, they're probably going to turn to the matrix in order to get a very succinct description of this particular item rather than fishing through
it
the
depends.
narrative.
It depends what you're using it for. If you're using it for a grant application, you're probably gonna look at the narrative and just reference whatever the recommendation was.
Mhm.
It depends what you're using the document for.
So is it just out of turn to request that the Complete Streets Committee be noted as a supporter of certain
So,
line items?
I think it's more appropriate to have the list of folks who are NGOs. Or to expand that category, because that will capture other committees like beautification, like committees that may be formed in 2 or 3 years that we're not sure of at this point. And have this committee certainly listed out as folks who fall under that category. But again, you're called out in a couple of places within the actual narrative.
Okay.
So if you go to the section of getting around without a car, you're gonna find in the opening paragraph, Groton has a complete streets committee, advisory committee. It has a policy that's being implemented by that committee. It's so.
Okay.
Both.
Okay. So one thing I think that would help this committee going forward would be if, as a part of every monthly meeting, the person who is staff support, you or your successor, would give a kind of a status of the POCD process, what's going on, and what aspects of it are relevant to
Okay,
the
so I can
Complete
tell you,
Streets.
that probably will not happen on a monthly basis.
Okay.
It's more likely it is so it's going to be the task of an implementation committee that the Planning and Zoning Commission is going to figure out once this thing is adopted. They will probably meet twice a year to discuss where we're at, because I will tell you, things are not gonna happen on a monthly basis. There's not gonna be stuff to report. On certain things. It'll probably be a 6-month increment that things might actually be reportable.
I guess I'm thinking about like just planning and zoning applications and things that are happening in the town that could be influenced by the P O C D
Yeah,
recommendations.
that's certainly all on the website, and I mean, there's an application matrix attached to every Planning and Zoning Commission agenda packet. Sure, we can give you that as well.
Okay. All right, then I think I will skip over the variety of items where I felt like Complete Streets Committee should have been noted as supporters. I'll skip over.
Okay.
But what I will say is an issue that comes up at the state level, at the Bike Pit Board related to housing development is that the propensity in many cases to develop what we call greenfield sites, which are easier to develop because they don't have the complications, for example, of any possible contamination or just the urban, influences. Often place housing in almost isolated or remote areas that are not easily connected by anything other than the private automobile. And there is nothing that I've seen in the at least in this matrix that refers to placing new housing development in proximity to public transit and or walkable mixed use commercial centers. And so I'd like to propose that be considered as a recommendation.
So I think you'll find that in some of the studies or plans that are proposed within these strategies to develop, for example, something similar to that in the downtown, in the downtown area.
Mhm.
It's just, right. So it's definitely stuff that you will see in the narrative, for sure. As well as implementation of the Complete Streets plan that Mark had done. And recommending that greenfields not be the first choice for development.
Okay, all right, good to hear that.
Can I ask
Okay.
one other thing?
Sure.
Maybe everybody else knows this already, but I don't. Is the Complete Streets policy going to be included in the plan, or is it going to be like an appendix linked to it or
referenced in the
something?
Planning and Zoning Commission really wanted to make this a small, a small plan rather
small
than
plan is
something
sufficient,
huge
Colin.
in terms of amount of paper.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think they're, and I don't think we're gonna be successful at that. But that was sort of their goal, is not to have, 93 recommendations, which was in the last plan,
Mhm.
to try to make them more concise. So this will be a document that lives online. There will be hyperlinks in it. So sure, you will be able to get to that policy through the plan because there will be a link,
Thank you.
but we're not gonna print it out.
I heard you're not printing a lot of things, not you personally, but I heard the budget book might not be printed this year. I'm like, what? What?
Okay. Any other questions or comments about the POCD? All right, hearing none. Thank you all for your insight.
And feel free to attend the public hearing and speak on your own behalf, not necessarily, as well as part of any other committee you're part of. So.
Okay, right. Thank you. Okay, so we have one item under old business, and it's just looking back at last month's meeting and the discussion we had, which seemed very productive with community advocates and representatives of the education space in the town of Groton. And we have JC Ambois here and JC, if you can hear me,
Yes,
thanks for attending. And
My pleasure. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
hey, so I don't really have anything from myself. Are any of the members of the committee wanting to speak about anything that's transpired since last month? Here, so I guess we're going to put the burden on you to tell us whether there have been any further communications or if there's any new ideas from you and your colleagues in this area.
Thank you. The only thing that I've done in the past month since we met is I contacted a local business that was interested in working on at least the project that I was interested in, getting bikes for kids. And I know there's a guest in the audience that also had a little bit of a, I guess, overlap with what we were doing, but there's some folks out in this community, whether it's town or city, that would like to help out in that effort if there's anything that we can do to get that ball rolling.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. I know that the town is looking for ideas, and perhaps they've moved beyond just ideas on how to distribute bikes to Branford Manor youth, because they've got funding for that project. And then there are other fair weather projects. I think it's hard for us, I think, to get our heads around like projects that are like spring and summer projects, but right now. But thank you for what you guys have been doing, and I think in the months ahead we'll be able to put really boots on the ground and have more of an impact than we can in the midst of winter here. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. I had one add-on if you didn't mind, and I know
Oh, sure.
we
Go ahead.
kind of talked about it previously, and I know Patrice is there, so maybe she could weigh in on this. I'm also a City of Groton counselor. Uh, Part of the highway budget gets funded through the town. I mean, basically all of it does for the highway budget, and they're planning on doing two roads this year. One of them being Fairview, which is right under Gold Star Bridge, and then also Riverview, which is kind of on the way towards the bike ramp. I've spoke to our highway department employees and tried to stress trying to make that a complete streets project if possible. It'd definitely help on the bikeability, walkability, since it's in that key location. But I just wanted to pass that along. And if you had anything that I could share with our mayor to pass along to our employees to try to seek out any grant funding while they do this repaving project, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay.
What were the two streets again, JC?
It's Fairview, which is down under the train bridge and under Gold Star Bridge. So it's going from that corner of where the submarine memorial is, heading to the next light where the Grace Baptist Church is.
Okay.
So they're going to do that stretch, and then they're also going to do the stretch of Riverview, which is basically where the ramp to the bike path going towards the bridge is heading, and I think it stops right at the city line at that I guess you'd say eastern part of that city line.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I know there's funding that could be applied for this sort of thing. The Connecticut Community Connectivity Program comes to mind. The town has received funding from that program, but I don't know if we have the time to apply and to work through that process before paving season. And Mark Berry from from Parks and Rec is here. Do you recall, Mark, what the duration of the process, application, award, et cetera? It's been a while.
Yeah.
This project wouldn't be approved until this is approved for next fiscal, so we do have a little bit of time before that were to happen.
Oh, okay.
So you were saying Connecticut Connectivity.
Community Connectivity Grant is the name of it. What I would recommend, just for a quick reference, would be to go through the town Groton website to the Complete Streets Plan, Complete Streets Bike and Pedestrian Plan, which we have here on the table. In the reference section, there is a description of funding opportunities for these kinds of projects. It's a really good summary of funding opportunities for the town of Groton, for the city of Groton as well. You know, that plan did not address the city just because of the jurisdictional lines and, you know, and that sort of thing that always ends up happening here. But there's really concise information. So maybe you could just start by taking a look at that. You have to go through
It's on the planning and development.
planning and
Your
development's
documents.
department page and look at documents, and you'll see that plan. Just take a quick look at that. I will as well, and then perhaps we can talk about it offline if there's any kind of timing constraints that we need to jump right on. But that's really good to hear.
That's perfect. Thank you so
from you.
much.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian, may I? I have
Yeah.
a question. I'm not sure, some of the grants, can the city apply or does the town have to apply on behalf of the city? That's the other thing you have to think about.
Exactly. Yeah, if it says a municipality has to apply, the town has to apply on your behalf. If it doesn't mention that, how about it?
But what I would say is, I'm sorry, I'm talking out of turn, so okay.
Oh, go right ahead.
What I would say is if it's deemed something that the city wants to do, I would get all your ducks in a row and go to the council and ask the manager to process this application on behalf of the city. I don't think there'd be a problem with it because unless there's like a match or something. If there's a match, then there might be pushback. But if it's just straight out grant money, then I don't think there'd be an issue. Does that make sense?
There's a match. No.
I don't think there is a match for the community connectivity.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think there was.
And so whether there's a match or not, that would be described in the summary in the master plan that I just mentioned. So that's something for us to take a look at. But thanks for bringing that to our attention, JC.
Thanks for all your help and resources, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. So now we come to the part of the meeting where we hear from our town engineers. And I know that there's one project in particular that they would like to tell us about, and then we'll just see if there's any other updates. But the first one is a sidewalk proposed for a section of Route 1. And I'll let Jeff have the floor here to give us a summary.
Yeah, so we just thought, given kind of the timing of the project and this committee, it would be something to kind of just give updates on and maybe solicit a little bit of thoughts and feedback. So the project in question is Route 1 from Johnson Hardware, the north side of Route 1 going, what's the name of that? Tom, I'm forgetting the name of where it terminates at the other end.
It's close to the bridge. It's the new apartments,
village?
complex there. Yeah,
The village,
Bluff
yeah.
Point Village. or
Bluff Point or the
Bluff
Village of
Point.
Bluff. Something like that.
So it's a very narrow corridor. It's very high on the Complete Streets master plan as a high ranking place to get sidewalks for connectivity. It's also a narrow corridor. We also want a bike lane through there. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Most recently, the reason we're kind of taking a step back and coming to the committee is we are getting a significant amount of pushback from a property owner where an easement would be required in order to construct the sidewalk. So we're kind of looking at all options. We got a little time because we're needing the snow to melt so that our surveyor can survey the south side of the road. We're really exploring everything, even from knowing that DOT wants to repave the road in a couple of years, looking at can we push the sidewalk on the south side as far south as we can get it within the right of way to just give ourselves every inch we can get. To that end, in the meantime, we have ARPA money that is driving the sidewalk that we want to build. So that would have to be built this calendar year. So that whole approach wouldn't really work unless we built as much of the sidewalk as we could without encroaching on that one property. So there's a lot of moving parts. And I did bring Tom with me to kind of talk about it, and I probably shared more than I meant to before I turned it over to him, but I was going to let Tom kind of just go over some of the particulars and talk about some of the kind of ideas that we've tossed around, and just kind of see some initial thoughts that people here may have on that.
Can I really quickly, does the ARPA money have to be started or finished?
It has to be spent by
Finished.
December 31st. So if it was a simple sidewalk project,
Yeah.
that would be very easily doable from this point. But yeah, the easements and just some of the
Thank you.
considerations.
Yes, and yeah, if anybody wants to look at a plan.
Can
I
you
guess.
just open them up and
Okay.
we'll gather around if we want to.
Yeah, sure. So,
She has,
Oh,
there's a
yeah,
camera up
we
there.
need to move it.
okay.
Here we go.
Gotta come into the middle, I think.
Yeah. That's such a, when did you guys get that?
Sean, isn't that great?
It is.
It's been there a couple of years now.
Yeah, because when we were doing stuff before, it'd be like,
So have it face you well, and we'll be on the right side up.
Can you zoom in?
I can.
Wow.
great, Brian, jeez.
Here it comes.
I love it, Deb. Thank you, Sean, for listening when you're posting to YouTube.
All right.
Okay.
Cindy can see it.
Once you orient everybody first, what they're looking at.
Okay. So on the, this is plants oriented north south. On the far right side, we have Johnson's Hardware. On the far left side, we have the village at the Bluff, the new apartment complex. So we're, there's no existing sidewalk there now, and it's a shoulder and then people's front yards. So and we've got ARPA funds to put in a sidewalk at this precise location. It's location specific. And so we're looking for options on what to do. So the right of way constraint is constraining our sidewalk. And then so I've got a section of the road showing the best we can do with 11-foot travel lanes for cars. And then you got a 5-foot bike lane and a 5.5-foot sidewalk. And then, so if you take that, we have just enough space to do it for most of the way until we get to the last two houses on the right. The shaded area is where we're asking for easements, and we're getting pushed back. Johnson's Hardware has actually told me that they are okay giving us an easement, but the house next to them is not, and they oppose the project, and they don't want a sidewalk in front of their house. And their front door is really close to the sidewalk, and then their neighbors are even closer. So just to try to help illustrate it a little bit, Johnson Hardware, and then this building, I believe this property used to be like a taco bar.
It was a separate piece, and there was a food truck there.
About the food
But the neighbor, yeah.
Then the homeowner here.
So there's a house under the note that's obscured. We can't really.
No, that's
Oh, no, I
that's
thought
green
there was.
space.
So this is the house.
That's their house, yes.
So these owners purchased this and combined it. So this owner owns the sliver here that we're showing.
But the one next to it is even closer to the street.
Correct.
I think it's a little brown house.
This one here?
Yeah.
Yes.
But you don't need an easement.
But we don't need an
in
easement.
front of their
The way the
actual
right of way
building.
falls.
But because there's this 282 square feet to the east, that's not even near their front door. They're
Yeah,
using that as leverage to try and, well, let's say to oppose the project.
they are, yes. And then the other part is that this plan, I'm not sure if it's completely feasible because I put the back of the sidewalk directly on the right of way line, and we might need a foot or so in between there. So depending on, if the other people want to cooperate, give us temporary construction easements to blend the grades between the back of sidewalk and their property is what usually happens. Then we'd be able to do that. If they oppose it, then I'm not sure, we might have to set it back another foot or two so we have room to build it. So I'm looking at alternatives now, just in case we can't reach an agreement with the private property owners. And looking through the complete streets plan, I did notice that that the concept for this area actually shows the continuation of the 10-foot wide side path that goes in front of the town hall. continues along the south side of the road.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I was thinking of that possibly as being the corridor for bicycles, and then the concept just shows a 5 foot wide sidewalk on the north side of the road, and we could probably squeeze that in and narrow the shoulder a little bit. So that's I was curious if we have any more information on continuation of the 10 foot wide side path on the south side of the road, because I see some difficulties there too, mostly with right of way. There's existing parking in front of Midway Pizza that goes out towards the road, and then the intersection gets a little tight. So have we done any sort of looking into feasibility of that continuing that 10 foot wide side path? And if that's a future option, then I think we could be going with the plan just by putting a sidewalk on the north side and not really planning to have bikes use the north side, have them use the side path on the south side.
So the short answer is the 10-foot side path through that section is not authorized in any form or fashion. It is a aspirational concept, and there are a lot of constraints, and they start all the way down to the Quantic River Bridge. And the funded project for bicycle infrastructure on that segment of road has scoped bike lanes on both sides. And that is moving very quickly, we hope, towards actually beginning design. So the side path is not in the cards, but the bike lanes are. So that's where this gets really challenging for a sidewalk, because you need every bit of the right of way. And like so many of our roads, the right of ways are like earthworms just wiggling all over the place. And this is a good example of where you've got very wide right of way on the south side or shoulder it, but nothing on the north side. And so it's a problem that could cause a lot of complications. So with respect to these kinds of easements, if a property owner objects, there is no recourse for the town, even though this is state right of way. Does the state have more influence, let's say, than the town does to negotiate with a adjacent property owner?
Other than them being the state that's bigger, no, not really.
Okay.
I would say more, they're not gonna take the time of day to do it because they
don't
say
have
they
any
promote the sidewalk, but it's us that's really trying to do it.
How narrow can the sidewalk be in that area?
5 feet, I believe, per zoning. Is that right?
Yes, I believe zoning says 5 feet, and then I'm not sure if there might be an exception for this specific situation. Pro ADA
Yeah.
says 4 feet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a zoning regulation. If there is a project proposed there that requires a frontage sidewalk, then it has to be 5 feet. That's not what this is.
That's not what this is.
So if given the circumstance with the homeowners, and given that we're working on getting bike lanes on one, could we go with just the narrowest possible sidewalk on the north side and just leave it at that without causing too much aggravation for people, and then the money won't be wasted? And I have seen kids walking, even though there's a sidewalk on the other side, they still walk the north side, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So even if we get like a small pedestrian, I call it whatever you need to call it, on the north side, and that the neighbors would be willing to accept, and then just put the effort into going for the bike lanes on one to keep the cyclists on the actual road. I think that would be, if that's possible. I don't know what the possibilities are as far as width or construction, as what composition they would be. Would it have to be concrete, or could it be a different type of pathway? I don't know what.
Well, we're in a good advantageous position with the bikeway project starting soon. There may be the possibility of realigning some of the travel way, and with repavement coming up relatively soon as well, perhaps we can seize the opportunity to shift the lane south, because as you can see, there's quite a bit more shoulder area or right of way on the south side. So perhaps we could finesse the roadway just through this curve enough to give us the space for the minimal sidewalk, because it looks like the right of way line is currently almost in the roadway or in the shoulder, right? Is that right?
Yes, it is. That's the right of way line.
So the road is already in that property owner's yard.
Yes.
So then like a footpath, how wide could a footpath be? I mean, I don't know what the correct
Well,
terminology
if it's
is,
going to be
right?
a public sidewalk,
Right,
then it has to meet ADA. You just can't.
which is 4
40.
and with concrete
Yes,
or paved, I mean,
I
like,
don't think it has, I don't think the surface is required, it has to be
but
flat and passable.
it's on a DOT arterial road. It's gonna have to be
Yeah.
concrete. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be we'd be aiming for a 4-foot setback to squeeze through there. And I mean, that's,
so just to clarify, so you're suggesting then, is this part of a repavement project of 1, they try to realign and shift the road further south and then grab the sidewalk area from the
Yeah.
existing Route 1?
maybe if it's feasible and it, and
It's happened before. Yeah.
it's happened before, and we have an engineering project starting up soon that's going to be looking at all of this. So we'll have that, we'll have the ability to do some detailed design work on this.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go back to a money person. What happens to the ARPA money?
No,
Can we use it for something else?
Yeah,
Is there another
we-
sidewalk
if we-
project that it could be applied to?
Can we build part of it and just stop at the pinch point?
We've talked, that was one of the options we threw out.
Yeah.
Build as much of it as we can without encroaching. But again, the problem Tom mentioned of the backside of the sidewalk being right at the property.
That's a
line.
5-foot walk, but if we do a 4-foot walk, then you.
It still is gonna be tricky to do.
But you need a
But-
construction easement, a temporary construction easement.
So the same people are gonna have to grant us a construction easement that are unwilling to grant a permanent. They'll,
Oh, okay.
they frankly pulled out every stop in the book. They know good lawyers. This is a sidewalk to nowhere. Nobody ever walks here.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's still,
Because it's not safe.
Okay, so assuming that you can't do that, what else can you do with the ARPA money? Like, what else could that pot of money that's
believe-
allotted for this particular stretch be used for if we cannot do this?
I
Like,
believe we have other ARPA money for, you would
Yeah, I know you are.
like a low income housing or development.
right, so,
Thing, and
right,
I
so-
believe we could
um,
pull the plug on the sidewalk and the town still gets the money. But
There-
this is the only sidewalk that it's gonna,
there's
Right.
another project that
So-
this pot of cash could be used for.
that's exactly right. So when the council and RTM did the approvals, any leftover money they assigned to the CDBG grant. So it would not be another sidewalk in another location. It would go to housing rehab.
and I was told it may be arbitrary, but at least it's probably fairly accurate. We should be making that determination by like March. If we're gonna go that route with this money, it's not like we have until July to pull the plug or something.
Thank you for all the answers.
Well, I'm still looking for a way to use the money here. This stretch does not have a curb currently,
No.
right? And you have laid it out so that within the existing roadway, and tell me if I'm correct, you're mapping 5-foot bike lanes and 11-foot travel lanes within the existing roadway, right? And you don't have room to move the sidewalk into the roadway, or you would infringe on that.
Correct.
30 some feet,
so yeah, this is what we got.
37.5 feet, including
Yeah.
sidewalk.
And so actually that's an estimate based on the aerial image, and our surveyor is gonna survey the south curb line when he gets it, when the snow.
Oh, so you'll.
So we met with these homeowners the Friday before the big storm. So that all, their pushback came to light right before we got hammered with all this snow. So we then immediately asked our surveyor, go ahead and survey this when the snow is gone. And
Right. So as soon as you get the survey, you'll know whether you have more or less space.
Yeah.
at which point maybe we could have a discussion about build the sidewalk now. And then because we have to with the money we don't want to lose.
Right.
And then the bike lane on that side becomes that we can
Right.
try to deal with that with the road I get.
Okay, so it's to be determined, in other words. We don't know yet. But we don't have very much time to make.
So that was kind of the thinking though, is because we only surveyed the north quarter where we thought we were building a sidewalk.
Okay. All right, so I guess at next month's meeting, third Wednesday in March, you think you will have the survey by then?
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
Less, yeah.
The snow is melting.
Heaven's willing.
Still got ways to
Okay.
go though.
All right, so that's what we're gonna just hold until then, and then we'll talk about it.
And obviously, if
March.
anybody thinks of any other thoughts between now and then.
Do you guys think about like combining the bike lane with the sidewalk? Or is that an option at all? Like, like even if it's just in that little area, because like doing that is like, okay, I mean, it's like, I ride through here all the time. And like, as long as there's like certain like yield signs to like, that like, yeah, bikes are kind of converging onto it. I don't know if that's doable at all, but I was just kind of putting that out there.
That is a piece of infrastructure that can be implemented, but I think the challenge here is that we've got two overlapping projects. We've got the town project, which has, short funding, short timeframe funding, and then we have a state project. This could be a much longer timeline. And so we almost have to say there's a hard line between the two, so that town can implement right away, and then the state can fit. And I don't think you're going to be able to combine them at all. I think they have to separate.
Yeah, not that I like watching people rip up new sidewalk. I've seen it happen, just right up the street. We built something and 3 weeks later they're ripping up panels to lay a new electrical infrastructure. But it's not to say that we couldn't build the whole sidewalk now. And if it's just literally the 100 foot or whatever it is in 2 years, we revisit that part and at least consider.
I mean, it's also possible that you build a sidewalk now, and then the best option for the state is just to add more sidewalk inbound and save a couple of feet or 3 feet by combining the two. And then the existing sidewalk remains where it is. We're just adding more space. So that could happen. That could happen. All right.
How much would the ARPA money, how many feet would the ARPA money cover?
How much is in the budget? Do you know? Do you remember?
I want to say, is it 200 and
200,000 in the ARPA budget, and I think that's about what the sidewalk would cost.
I think the ARPA money is 200 and
Okay.
we have a little bit of a sidewalk allocated reserve fund that we kind of hanging on to in case we go over that budget to see it through. But I think the grant is 200,000.
And just for my own clarification, where does it end on the west side? Does that go all the way to human services or to the bridge, or?
It goes to the bridge. So the sidewalk picks back up. There's just a segment that it isn't there. So we're picking it up on both ends
Okay.
where existing sidewalk terminates and connecting it through. So it's the village at Bluff Point right before the bridge is where it ends.
Is there is that where the crosswalk is now?
Yes.
Or is that in front of human services? I'm trying to visualize.
In front of
I drive it every time.
Crosswalk is in front of him.
Human services. So there's sidewalk closer to this constricted area.
Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, the sidewalk ends at that lawyer's office
The
there,
lawyer's office.
and then it doesn't start up again on the other side.
So it seems to me that these two projects, the one you're working on with the state and this one are related. And
Mhm.
so I was thinking if you have any preliminary plans, or I can share with what I got with you, and if
Sure.
there's any way we can kind of collaborate and plan, since our project could go on first and yours would
Right.
take on after that, then maybe
Right.
we just end up with a narrower bike lane in the interim and then
Right.
shift the lanes a little bit later or something. So
That sounds like a good case scenario. The state project is still in contract negotiation, so it hasn't started yet. It's been taking a very long time, to say the least. So as soon as it's up and running, then I think we can start coordinating if there's time for you guys.
okay.
All right. Great. Okay. So Jeff, do you guys have any other town projects worth mentioning at this point? I think we're not really doing any.
Not at the moment. It's been an intense winter and yeah, we're short-staffed without our director. So yeah, not at
Okay.
the moment. no.
All right. That's great. Okay. All right. Well, I think we've come to the end of today's meeting. I think we've covered everything from our visitors, so we don't really have any more input. So thank you guys for that. And so it's 4:42.
Move to
And,
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Thank you.